Good afternoon. We have a special guest speaker for you today. Please give a warm welcome to the hosts of My Gym Partners, a podcast. Attendance is mandatory.
Bullshark, porcupine, I don't know what. Doing this podcast's a pain in the...
Welcome, my children of the night. Do you hear them howling? For it is the night of Halloween night.
I've come to kill you, Father.
Alucard?
That's right, it's me, Alucard, from Castlevania, Symphony of the Night, and selected cameos in other games.
You fool, Alucard. It is me, Adam Sandler from Hotel Transylvania. You will never beat your father.
But I will beat you.
Okay.
Jake Spider Monkey
everybody.
kind of looks like a flea, man. Alright. Hey, everybody. It's Halloween.
It's Halloween, everybody. Welcome to My Gym Partners, a podcast. You know, I've been really excited because we're getting close to hitting our 10th episode. This is
God,
our
I'm
ninth
so
episode.
excited for our 10th episode because, like, I didn't think we'd get so far as to get to, like 9? Now 10? Two numbers? That's crazy!
I know, right? Imagine if we got to, like, 50 or something. That'd be wild.
Imagine if we almost, like, finished the entire, like, series. Like, can you think about it and then we daydream?
Okay.
Doo-doo-ba-doo-ba-doo.
It's a little scary.
Nothing
but-
changed
Yeah, it's a little scary.
nothing changed for me. It's kind of just the same, but I guess daydreaming doesn't work.
But anyway, we got a couple of fright-filled episodes for you.
Ooh, things that'll make
for
your
the-
bones shiver and quiver.
All right, quick question for you two. What is the best Halloween special ever?
God. So
Witch's Night Out.
Witch's-
That's my answer.
Witch's Night Out is really good because they drew me. And
That's right, they did draw
they
you.
just drew me on Twitter, and I was like, thank you. Thanks, Witch's Night
Thank
Out.
you, official Witches Night Out Twitter.
Thank you, official Witch's Night Out. Like, all I did was, like, be like, hey, I watch Witch's Night Out. Cool thing. And they're like, here you go.
They're like you, and they pointed at you and, like, took a little bit of your soul and drew you.
I wish they drew me. You know, I was the harder Witch's Night Out stand, but alright, you know.
But my favorite, so Scary Godmother isn't my favorite, but I like it because
It's one of those nostalgic things, right? Like, you remember watching it as a kid, and now it's just, like, watching it, and it's, like, really dated, but it's fun. It's, like, a fun time.
my favorite thing to watch during Halloween is probably, it's just Over the Garden Wall. I think it's a wonderful thing to watch in the autumn times. It has, like, the perfect feeling for it. If I had watched it as a kid, it would be, like... I think it would be, like, a bigger part of me than it is now.
Yeah, there is something to it. I think I have it, like, on DVD. It's real nice.
I do, too. It's definitely... If anybody who hasn't heard of Over the Garden Wall, which... I mean, there's probably some folks who haven't watched it.
It's been a bit since it originally came. Didn't it come in, like, 2014 or something?
Yeah, it came
Around then, yeah.
Came out in my high school days. I think, like, senior year of high school. Over the Garden Wall came out, but yeah, it's a wonderful thing to watch during Halloween. A lot of people tell you that, and they're not full of shit. It's great. But we're not watching that. We didn't watch that. We didn't watch Over the Garden Wall. This is actually my favorite Halloween special. What we're about to talk about is the two My Gym Partners, a Monkey Halloween episodes.
Starting off with, it's the Scary Old Custodian, Adam Lyon.
That's a really lengthy title.
Well, it's kind of sounds like a Charlie Brown special name.
Oh,
I think is what it's
yeah.
supposed to be.
Okay, gotcha.
It's a Scary Custodian.
We know these people like their Charlie Browns, what with like the Charlie Brown reference in the Animus special, which we covered
yeah.
not too long ago.
Yeah, that was just an episode or so ago, wasn't it?
Since it's Halloween, I feel like it would be, kind of nice to get into the mood a bit. I have in front of me, Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, and I'm just kind of looking for, like, a short little tale to read.
Yeah.
I think that would just kind of, like, set everybody into the mood, because whatever I think... Huh?
Gert, I don't think you can read those, like, legally
Can you...
here.
No, you can, because they're old folk tales. They're not owned by anybody.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know if...
Here, I'll tell you a scary story you could tell in the dark. One day, Gert approached me and said, you know what would be a good idea? Let's make a podcast about My Gym Partner's a Monkey. And then I said yes, and now I'm here. 9 episodes in, it's still talking about the monkey show. And you know what? I think we need to talk about it.
Okay, yeah.
So, this episode starts with Adam walking to school, and he's wearing a little pirate outfit. It's got a little fake parrot on his shoulder. He looks very dapper.
Funny pirate
Yeah,
music.
yeah, like SpongeBob stock music playing in the background.
The autumn air is palpable. There's like autumn leaves falling, the sky is a nice auburn. We got some crows like flying in the air. One has a backpack because they're going to school. See, that's the joke.
I wish Halloween was like evening all day. Like, if I had like some sort of godly power or like a wish, I would wish that Halloween is just like the sun is setting from like the daytime until like nighttime.
Like, it's just a kind of like orangey yellow, like,
yeah, like it's always
sky.
It's just orangey yellow all day. I think that would be wonderful.
So as Adam, he's going into the school with his like little like pirate outfit, he hears a bunch of moaning and howling coming from the school with the marquee sign saying Happy Halloween. So he's like, ooh,
He thinks that the animals are just really into Halloween, obviously, and of course when he walks in, Jake's just like screaming at Windsor, like they're just screaming at each other, monkey stock sound effects, and it's like, oh, it's Halloween. Isn't that funny and amusing? Just it's an animal kind of thing.
My favorite bit of this joke here of the reveal of where the sounds are coming from is how like Adam opens the door and he sees Jake like going ooh, howling, but then like it does like a little like a cutaway thing. It doesn't cut away, but it goes back to Adam's perspective. Then it goes back to Jake, and they change the sound effect when they go back to Jake, so it's just that like screaming monkey sound that we hear him do so often, and every time they use that, it just fucking gets me. It's such a funny noise. It's just like this angry goddamn ape noise. This screech.
I think there's just something very just like sharp and instantly hilarious for me.
Because it's like that doesn't look good on the
oh, that's good audio. All right.
It literally, the spot where I did that, it is solid blue, like on Audacity.
All right. So instead of putting on costumes like Adam is doing, where like they just call it a blouse. Hey Adam, nice blouse you're wearing. But it's a puffy pirate costume. But you see, they don't understand this because as Windsor explains, we animals don't like dress up every like October 31st. We just howl. It's what we do. It's Halloween. Get it?
Get it? You see, the reason this happened is because Halloween kind of looks like it could be like if you're an animal, right? Like if you're an animal, You could definitely mistranslate Halloween as Halloween, and like because that's like an animal thing, and that's like the joke. Just in case anybody needed help with that.
So they howl like all day, basically.
Yes, it's incredibly annoying. You can imagine that it gets tiring really fast. Like Adam is just sitting there in class, he looks miserable. He was expecting, a fun animal Halloween thing, but it's just noise. And so he takes the first opportunity he can to escape it, because Principal Pixie Frog needs somebody to go to the boiler room underneath the school where it will be nice and quiet to get something or the other. File or something?
Yeah, just a file.
Yeah,
He doesn't mention what file. He just needs an arbitrary file.
Hey, I need you to go get a file for me.
Hey, Gert, did you walk away from your mic?
No. I had to close my air vent because it was making noise. Happy Halloween, everybody.
What if it was a ghost?
There's some kind of windy noise in my room. Do you think there's a ghost forcing its way through the air ducts?
Have we talked about how Jake killed the parrot yet?
Oh yeah,
No,
he did.
yeah,
Kill
I was going to just say before the ghost dialogue here that look, okay, Jake all throughout this is jealous of this like obviously fake parrot that Adam has. Adam even tells him, Jake, it's a fake parrot. It's not anybody. But Jake's like, oh, you're too good to hang out with me, too good to hang out with me, you little like parrot fella, Adam's parrot, and he just in a fit of rage throttles the toy parrot, and like the head comes off, and like Jake thought it was real for a moment. Let's remind ourselves, and then like at the sight of decapitating this parrot, it just kind of like shrugs and throws him away.
And he smiles. He gets a big closed mouth grin, and
I feel like it was kind of sheepish. Like he's like, "Whoops, did I do that?" But he absolutely in his mind thinks he killed a parrot, like the bird.
He does.
I think we can
A fellow
agree on
student.
Yes.
he absolutely did take the life of another in his mind, and it does not faze him very much. The true horror of Halloween.
He's killed and he will kill again.
He gets up on Adam's shoulder though. He's like, I'm the bird now, and so yeah, they're going to the lower parts of the school, the scary, musty, swampy parts of the school, which I always enjoy seeing more of the school that's not just like what we're, the lunchroom and the hallways.
Right. It's nice to go to like different locations in the school. I really enjoy like that idea because it makes it look a lot bigger than like it just makes the space a lot bigger. It's kind of like a wayside sort of deal, like like oh wow, this school's crazy, and it's not just a school with a bunch of animals and poop everywhere.
As they descend down into the creepy boiler room.
Down. What even is a boiler room, Renee? Boiler room facts with Renee.
What? Oh.
It's a Halloween special. It's a Halloween alternative to Animal Facts with Renee. It's Boiler Room Facts with Renee. Come on, be a...
You know what? Hey, you know what, Gert?
Huh?
Hold on.
Oh, Boiler Room Facts with Lucy?
Do that.
So me? I'm the one? But,
no,
okay.
No, do my theme for me.
Okay. You know what? I might actually change the name of the corner.
Okay.
Home Inspection with Lucy.
Hi everybody, it's Home Inspection with Lucy, and I'm here to talk about the boiler room. Now, Not a lot of people know what a boiler room is, but it is a noun and it means a room in a building, parentheses, typically in the basement, end parentheses, or compartment in a ship containing a boiler and related heating or steam generating equipment. You can also describe it as a room used for intensive telephone selling, but that is just not what we're talking about today.
Wait,
now listen, a boiler room is a place or operation, usually a call center, where high-pressure salespeople call lists. Wait a minute, that's the wrong definition of the boiler room. Listen, what is a boiler room operation? In the context of investing, the term boiler room operation refers to an outfit using high-pressure sales tactics. That's the wrong one again. What is a boiler room in a hotel? A mechanical room or a boiler room is a room or space in a building dedicated to the mechanical equipment and its associated electrical equipment, as opposed to rooms intended for human occupancy or storage. Boom! Boiler room facts with Lucy.
We're going down the stairs before you killed the mood.
That's something that Jake does because Jake is still pretending to be a parrot. On Adam's shoulder.
He's descending down the stairs and like seeing many horrors, such as, the bats. Oh, they're crawling around. One of them says, "Oh, nice blouse, Adam." That's the running thing this episode. That's the running joke. We hate it.
Funny how Adam dressed like a girl.
Yeah.
Ha 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 ha.
Oh God, it's a pirate shirt. A pirate shirt, and that's not what they are. They're not blouses. That's for girls.
He encounters the shadow of an ant, but it's actually James' aunt. And it's funny.
The way that like they encounter James' aunt is so funny because it's just them, like a montage of them descending, and they see like a creepy shadow, and they're like, and then it's just like, the shadow, we go to James' aunt, and he's like, "Hey, ya fellas," and then like the screen just slowly fades to a new scene. There's something kind of wistful about that to me, because like
I just enjoy James' aunt.
I do.
I think.
Yeah, I enjoy James' aunt. He's in both of these episodes we're going to talk about.
Adam nearly falls and dies, but Jake is there to catch him with his paw and like with the ability of flight. He realizes soon though that monkeys can't fly, and he falls himself. And Adam, like, heroically, uncharacteristically, he decides to go after Jake. Like, "I'll save you, Jake!" Dives down.
I don't know what he thought he was gonna do because I guess he just figured like he's going to fall too, and like in the air he's going to catch Jake, and then he's going to take the impact. That's the only way I could see him saving Jake in this instance. Because
it was only a 2-foot drop, though.
It was only a 2-foot drop. They're fine. Yay! They didn't die.
Shucks.
But that's not scary. Them not dying isn't scary though.
But this boiler room still is scary. We get like these backgrounds are like really good. I'd have to say, like in comparison, it's like all like grimy and detailed and ooh, like so colorful and frightful. Along the way, Adam loses track of Jake, and he gets like so frightened by the sound of a little water droplet. He runs away screaming, "Ah!" until he finds a little filing cabinet.
He runs into it, and his blouse is ripped. He goes, "Ah, my blouse. Oops. Uh-oh, he admitted it. I hope nobody heard it. Jake was in the filing cabinet." Now that's scary.
They're like, Jake is like searching through it, but he's like, all that's in here is like folders with paper in them, And it's at this point we realize, like Principal Pixie Frog wasn't really specific. What file did he mention? Why did he send them down here? And then they hear a noise. They turn around, and it's a human janitor.
Oh no, a human janitor, and he looks very old.
He's old.
Very, very like withered.
He's got kind of Goomba eyebrows.
Goomba eyebrows?
Yeah, like he looks kind of like, he's not mean, but his face is just sort of stuck in a constant like frown.
Yeah,
But it's just
I
because
can see that.
it's just because he's old though.
It is interesting that we don't get to see human characters like a lot, so it's interesting getting to see
A
them.
rarity, somewhat.
Mm-hmm.
So, we have Old Joe, the custodian, apparently a holdover from when the school used to be an all-human school. He pulls up an old picture of like the human students, like it's all like sepia tone and stuff. It's like, how old is Old Joe? Jeez.
Yeah, no kidding.
I feel like there's something really to like showing a picture and like having it be sepia tone and like for like a creepy effect. There's something about like something that once was normal and it being lost to time. It scares me. It frightens me.
Like we don't really know the history of the school like at all, like how it became what it is, but here's just like a relic from its past just lying underneath it like this whole time.
Yeah. The janitor or the picture?
Both.
But yeah, Old Joe goes to explain. He's like, "Oh, how do you think that the rhino dung is cleaned? How do you think the lily pads are cleaned? Someone's got to do it." So, that'd be Old Joe. Old Joe is the janitor of Charles Darwin. Adam and Jake are like, all right, well, I guess we're just gonna go then.
It's like, all right, bye.
And he's like, wait, let me tell you something really scary. A story. Sit down, young'uns. And, they're just like, all right. And he, like, leads them into a little chair. And he's like, I'm going to tell you a fucked up story.
Yeah, he says fucked up. It's Cartoon Network's one curse word they get per year, and they used it here.
It was Old Joe. You see, like, if a character says a curse, their, like, entire, like, they can't use that character anymore, so they have to use it for, like, a one-off character like Old Joe.
Yeah. Whenever a character from Cartoon Network swears, they have to kill them.
Yeah.
so they can't give it to an important character.
Mordecai and regular show said piss, and then the next day he was gone.
They replaced him with a different Mordecai, but you would never know.
Yeah. It's different color of blue, different shade. Bet you weren't observant, though. Bet you didn't have that keen eye like we do.
But you didn't notice that they killed Mordecai and replaced him with another Mordecai that looked exactly the same, except a slightly different shade of blue.
The horror!
But, that's why we're the professionals here.
Anyway, Old Joe is telling a story, and he's like, there were two kids, and they were just like you. And it was a long time ago in the old days. They were walking down the hall, and they had to open their locker. But there was something wrong with their locker. They were so fucking scared of their locker. What could it be? And it's like, this like sepia tone like flashback, and Jake is wearing like one of those like stupid hats that bullies wear.
A little Jughead crown.
Yeah, like a Jughead. And it's like a crown. What even is that? Was that a thing that real people wore?
Well, Jughead is real in my mind. So
so yes.
That's good. I'm glad that people wore those. But basically he's like, but they had to open the door because they needed to go to class. And then they open it and they find the rotting remains of the principal. And then
Smelly, rotten remains.
corpse.
But Jake and Adam aren't like as scared of the story as the janitor thinks they would be. They're kind of like, okay, so like it was all this build up and then it's just a corpse. Like, what's scary about that? It's not really scary.
There was no build up. It was just literally they go to their locker, and then the rotting remains of like that. That's like a creepypasta.
It's funny, this scene. It reminds me of how we review this cartoon. Just like the way like Adam and like Jake are like trying to like calmly explain, like, you know, not like to hurt his feelings, but like, you know, this is it needs more build up, you know. It's just like too sudden. There's not really
that does
any
sound
like
us,
gratification.
Like they're trying to be like not overly critical. They're giving constructive criticism, kinda. And he's like, well, if you've heard that one, then surely I could tell you something else that'll freak you out.
He goes like, he starts listing like stories and they're like, oh, we've heard them, but like every time he names a story there's like a really like nice painting of like the subject matter. Like, have you heard of like Beans for Brains? And it's like this really well rendered picture of some old guy with like a can of beans lodged in his head.
Yeah.
Donut head. There's some like
Hook hand,
donut headed guy.
claw toe,
fork tongue. And they're just all he's just listing off these freaks. And they're like, listen, we've like seen all of those. That you can't scare us. And he's like, wait, you want to see something really scary?
What?
And then his body parts, they just fall off. His head rolls towards Adam and Jake, and then he opens his smelly mouth and a bunch of green mist comes out. And
yeah, it's kind of spooky. I mean, if you're like a young kid watching this, I think you get a little freaked out.
I think the music that plays is like it's like that. Aww. that kind of like Gregorian chant music, like that's playing, and you know, Adam and Jake, they're just like, oh well, I guess his bad breath wasn't because of his like stomach or something he ate. It's just because like his head's there. And after that, you look at the torso that remains on the chair. A Principal Pixie Frog pops out of the neck, and he's like, "Oh, I give up."
He's like, nothing will scare you boys. And at this, Adam and Jake just scream and run out, and they're like, he's like, oh, okay, I guess, you know, that was it. You know, I love Halloween. Don't you, Miss Warthog? And Miss Warthog's with him too. And they just pulled this elaborate prank to scare students that they're fond of. And I guess Principal Pixie Frog is fond of Adam and Jake.
I guess he's, you know, those two, I enjoy their company.
They're gonna go places, I think.
They really, when I talk to them, it's like I'm talking to little adults, and you know, that makes me happy. They're really mature.
What I find funny about this is that like Halloween in reference to animals isn't just about howling, but yeah, it can also be about scaring people.
I just think Principal Pixie Frog is more like accustomed to human culture than like, you know, all the children and faculty at Charles Darwin. He always feels more like, I don't know, like he has a car apparently, you know?
Yeah.
He can drive, and he wears like a little suit, and he lives
in the suburbs.
He lives in the suburbs. He talks about law. He's a very like, he seems to have had an enriched life.
You know, that's probably why, despite everything, Adam always goes to him for like help with things, because he's like, okay, Principal Pixie Frog might not be the most helpful guy, but he does have a bit of like, human know-how, you know, like he can put things into context for me.
He reads books.
Yeah.
He's kind of the link between like Charles Darwin and the world of humans. He's the connective tissue between animals and humans, and how they like how this as a society like works, you know? Like for this to work, we need animals who know things about like taxes and law and even our holidays. He needs to keep up with it.
And speaking of humans, the ghost of the old custodian Joe comes in, ooh, sweeping away the body parts. Ooh, dismembered limbs don't clean themselves. And the Principal Pixie Frog and Miss Warthog, because Miss Warthog was the torso, they run away. Ah, boo, haunted house.
Boo, boo.
And that's
So
that
did,
episode.
So did like the janitor die and his ghost just there?
Yeah, I guess so. It's just, it might have been true that this school used to be an all-human school, and he's just like a leftover. His soul won't part from the old human vestiges of that school.
I mean, I guess Principal Pixie Frog just picked up the story from, like, you know, his files down there. He probably went down there one day looking for something, and he found that old photo, and he's like, this gives me an idea.
Let me make a scary story. And then it was real.
It was real. I kind of fucked up that guy supposedly died in the school, and like his spirit lingers there forever.
Well, you know, we can't linger here forever. Let's head on to the next episode.
I'm gonna look up Boiler Room.
We got it.
Boiler Room.
I think we got
Watch, listen, dance. Boiler Room TV. Connecting club culture to the wider world on screens. What the fuck?
I think I know too much about boiler rooms now.
Let's move on.
Boiler Room was the year 2000 movie, starring Ben Affleck. Well, the episode is called My Science Project, and it opens up with this big ol' structure that Adam is fooling around with. It's like a volcano, like
yeah, you know, when
model
you're like
volcano.
a kid and you do a volcano project for your school, everyone can relate to that, right?
Yeah, everyone can relate to that, like a really big volcano, and it has like I'm not really sure what the purpose of like this weird like part of the volcano is for, other than for Jake to be like, hey, what's with the toilet, Adam? Because it's like, you know, it looks like the back of a toilet. It looks like a place to sit and do your business.
It's not a toilet, Jake. It's a model volcano. It's for the science project. It's gonna win first place.
Can you imagine if instead of reviewing the episode, we just like said every word, like every line of the show, like verbatim, and we
would like perform the episode.
Yeah,
we
perform
like a monologue.
We perform the episode. It's like, it's gonna win the science fair, Jake. Okay, Adam.
Let's not do that.
Yeah. Well, I didn't say we should, Renee. I was just saying, what if? What if the entire?
I don't like thinking about what ifs.
We're only 10 episodes
Renee,
in.
What ifs are the spice of life, Renee? What do you got a problem with what ifs?
I have many problems with what ifs. Look, it is early 2019 right now, and I do not need to think about anything else.
Yeah.
Oh man, you know, I really to pin in that. Really looking forward to 2020. I really feel like it's gonna be the year. You know.
Yeah.
The year.
I hope it's better.
Anyway, so of course, with anything scientifically, you know, high-minded, we get one of the Spiffies coming again. It's Phineas, rival to Adam Lyon in terms of intellect.
Oh yeah,
I guess
they are like they're like two halves of the same coin. Phineas is Adam's Virgil as he is to his Dante. Fucking, they're like brothers.
I do think it's interesting that they are supposed to be like foils to each other. No, you make up a good point. They kind of do at the beginning here, like few episodes, try and set them up as that, right?
They really do.
Yeah.
Like, it feels, it's like, oh, well, Phineas is probably like dolphins are smart, so, and Adam is a human, so a human should be smarter than animals. But Phineas is kind of like this, like, rock in Adam's shoe. It doesn't prove his point. The humans are really smart all the time. Phineas is highly intellectual. He has a little suit, in this episode.
Yeah, what is this fucked up device that Phineas is in?
He's created,
you may be wondering.
He's created sort of like his own, like, like a chamber, like just a place for him, like an extension of his body almost. I don't know how he controls it. Maybe with his brain, maybe there are like sensors hooked up to him. He says that it stays the optimal temperature in there for his brain to work.
I would hope so. Don't dolphins, like, they have to be in the water because otherwise they get all dry and stuff, right? Like, does he got water in there, you think?
I don't know. He never has water, does he?
No, I mean, usually he walks around, but like I'm sure he could survive out in the elements on his, without water for like a few hours or something. But like, if he's planning on spending an extended period of time in the chamber, mobile chamber that he has crafted, do you think there's a little water in there?
Maybe he's invented something that like
Maybe there's a little pool there.
Maybe he's invented like a lotion of some kind, or like there's just already a lotion that dolphins can smear on their bodies, and it just keeps them like nice and moist all day.
Anyway, he also like uses this like thing to excrete some unknown sort of waste. I don't know what that yellow stuff is, but that's waste.
What?
Yeah, the little stuff. He's like, I take care of all my things I need to take care of in here, and then a little like pipe on the side just like squirts out some like yellow paste.
Might have been ambergris. You think it was ambergris, or is that only? Ambergris.
That's a whale thing.
Well, the dolphins not have ambergris?
No.
Are you sure?
I don't believe. Well. Animal Facts Corner with Renee.
Okay, let's do it.
Animal Fact with Renee.
Well, only whales produce ambergris, specifically sperm whales.
Why do they do it? Why do...
Apparently, according to Wikipedia here, scientists theorize that it is done as a sort of secretion to ease the digestion of like sharp objects, to like move them through the body without much harm.
Oh, it makes them slippery.
As they theorized with it surrounding the sharp beaks of giant squids.
Oh, cool.
So
so a whale eat a giant squid, and then this kind of stuff covers the beak so that when they eat it and it goes through them, it's not hurt.
I wish I could have some of that stuff in my own body. That sounds pretty useful.
Yeah, that way I can eat really sharp and dangerous objects and it won't hurt my insides.
I'm thinking, like maybe I can eat some Popeye's chicken and it won't hurt my insides. You know what I mean?
Please do not eat ambergris.
Have you had Popeye's like spicy chicken sandwich?
Of course
that shit's
I
so
have.
good.
It's so good.
It's so good.
I had a Popeye's chicken sandwich a little while ago. It's the first time I've had it in a couple of months because the last one I had was like it was undercooked and I had to return it, and it left kind of a bad impression on me. But I had it again when that fucking sandwich is done right. Best sandwich. Best fast food sandwich.
Yeah, I agree.
Best fast food chicken sandwich. For sure. I bet Jake Spider Monkey would eat one.
All right. Great way to bring it back to the show. You're talking about your Popeyes. We're not even sponsored by them.
We're not
right.
sponsored by anybody. We're only a 10-episode podcast. Nobody listens to this.
Not even a 10-episode podcast.
Not even. Like, will we even finish this?
No, I don't even think we'll
Let
make it
me-
past episode 30.
Let me finish it, please. I'm dying to talk about the bathroom scene.
Okay, let's talk about the bathroom.
Yeah, let's talk about the bathroom scene.
So, Adam, can't fit his big, dumb volcano in his locker, and has to go to the bathroom. So he goes in there, and, asks Jake to watch, the volcano. But Jake, all throughout this, as you can see, has been drinking, a big gulp sort of soda, and he's feeling nature call. And so, at this opportune moment, all the stalls are filled. Even Principal Pixie Frog is in one of the stalls, which, isn't there a staff bathroom? I don't know. But also, the urinals are out of order, so there's only one thing left. And, that perfect, little, divot that serves as, a backboard for... It's looking mighty reasonable. He pisses in the volcano.
He does piss in the volcano.
And for
Causes
some
a
reason...
reaction.
For some reason, it causes this reaction. And I'm just like, you'll cause it too. And it blows up.
I'm curious if urine is, reactive with baking soda.
No way. There's just no way. And the way Adam is so distraught, he's like, Jake, no, you're gonna, and poof, it just explodes. And there it is, his science project that he slaved over, and it looks nice. If a paper mache volcano can look like absolute garbage, but he put little trees along it and colored it, and it looks like a night. He put some real effort into it. Now I don't know if making a baking soda experiment volcano is the best way to win a science fair, but he looks like he put some effort into it.
Oh.
Jake just peed in it.
Okay. So I look up, is urine does it react with baking soda, I found something called baking soda gender test. What is it? How to do it? And does it work? Apparently, people think it could be like a pregnancy test. You could pee in baking soda and you could find out if you have a boy or a girl. What the fuck?
Sounds like witchcraft to me.
Oh yeah, if you pee in the baking soda, it'll turn blue if it's a boy, and pink if it's a girl.
That's bullshit. That's absolute bullshit.
That's not. It doesn't say that. But I'm just that's what I'm imagining.
All right. Enough of this. So here's where we get to the actual crux of the episode. Since we've been spending time looking at this toilet-shaped volcano, thinking how is this gonna be a science fair project? But Jake is like, don't worry, I got an idea. His first idea involves his butt that Adam shoots down, so he's like, dang, I'll try something else. He leaves for a moment and then comes back on the other side near instantaneously.
Sorry I was late.
I had to let the anesthesia wear off.
And
upon his head, bolted to his skull, his cranium, is a giant robot arm. And I just want to say, for the record here, this episode came out after Spider-Man 2, featuring Dr. Octopus, featuring the plot line where Dr. Octopus's mechanical arms had a malfunctioning AI that took control of his body. I'm just saying, I'm not gonna say they outright took the idea from Spider-Man.
Could you always empathize with Dr. Octopus? Was Dr. Octavius always like a good guy with the arms messing with him? Isn't that kind of the same deal with the Green Goblin?
Yeah, A lot of Spider-Man enemies are just like people driven insane by science.
Yeah, like old Green Goblin, he started taking serum.
Or, well, the Lizard Man guy, didn't he also, he like turned into a lizard because of science.
And what did Scorpion do?
Oh, Scorpion's more complicated. Like he was just kind of like hired to like be turned into like a superhero guy to like kill Spider-Man, hired by J. Jonah Jameson, but the method he used like drove Scorpion insane and like was like a killing machine.
I think
It's fucked up.
I feel like Spider-Man's entire message is just like nobody's just for the most part nobody's just like evil for no reason.
Sometimes you just dress up like a goblin. Sometimes
It's okay. Sometimes you just dress up as a goblin. You go, Spider-Man, we can rule this city.
But anyway, Jake inexplicably has a robot arm on his head, and this is what's gonna save Adam's science project. How did he get this? He knows a guy.
That scares me so much.
The horrifying implications of this is why this is paired with the Halloween episode.
Yeah, this like horror sci-fi. This is like one of those short stories you'd read in kind of like a scary stories to tell kind of a situation where it's like, and you wanted to win the science fair, but at what cost? You've sacrificed a piece of your humanity to be part machine.
It's kind of like the movie Splice.
No, God, no, it's not.
It's nothing like the movie Splice.
Yeah.
What are you talking
Well, you
about?
see, Jake in this situation is kind of like.
No.
No.
Well, no, Jake in this situation is a
No.
little bit like.
No.
But the
what
thing
are you
is,
talking about? Kurt, I know you just watched that movie recently. It has nothing to do with Jake Spider-Man. You have to let it go.
I listen. Splice is a movie that features a creature, and it also features Dren, who is the monster. The creature I speak of is Adrian Brody. And in this situation, Jake is kind of like Adrian Brody because he's like he's become way too invested in the science and he's
Well, who's Dren then? The robot arm?
yeah. And Adam is the is
Fuck off.
I hope someday we'll get to talk about Splice. That movie sucks.
No.
Huh?
We won't. We won't ever talk about it. I'll refuse to talk. I will leave if we have to talk about Splice.
Jake has a fucking robot arm on his
It has
head.
a robot arm. Listen, this is exciting stuff. Nothing ever happens in this stupid show. Jake here he has a robot arm. He went to a place and he knows a guy and he has a piece of machinery on his head and it starts to think for itself and it's stealing things and it's being and it has a mind of its own. It's controlling Jake's movements.
Oh yeah,
It's
that's like
scary.
Splice.
It brings in Windsor, who is like, oh, this is just like my classic novella, Cyber Simian. This will inevitably go wrong. It's funny because like he's kind of just like brought in and then is like immediately into like exposition for this.
Yeah, he just kind of like is around. He doesn't really do anything but like talk about the situation that's happening because I guess the writers thought that maybe like Adam and Jake, we wouldn't believe if Adam and Jake came to the conclusion themselves. Windsor had to come to the conclusion for them.
He's smart.
He's so smart. He's got so much knowledge.
Then, the science fair. We got all these like science fair projects. Miss Chameleon is helping judge. It's a joke, but like a water buffalo farting into balloons, methane powered planes. It's funny. James Ant. He's got a little ant farm. You get it?
Oh,
It's funny.
This is welcome to my ranch.
Yeehaw!
Yeehaw!
And then
little doggy.
Mr. Blowhole is there examining like a solar-powered generator, tips the magnifying glass oh so slightly, and oh, it's up in flames.
Oh no, James Ant's whole situation.
This is
Oh.
James Ant's little farm and himself engulfed in flames. He doesn't actually burn, but he does jump in the well.
Yeah, the little well that he built.
Yeah, maybe. Where does it lead? Do you think
I
it?
don't know, because he's like on
It's
a table,
just a
right?
cup.
You think
Come
it's just a
on.
cup? Yeah.
Okay, it's
I'm
just
pretty
a-
sure it's just a cup. And then we have the amazing robot arm on monkey head experiment. Mr. Mandrill's like kind of just reviewing this. They decide like, oh, for a test, like Jake, ask it to do something. All right, robot arm, I thirst. It then just steals Mr. Mandrill's wallet, takes out like a $5, tries to like get it into the machine, but it's not straight enough. He's got to like straighten it on the corner. That was a funny little
It's
joke.
a funny little sequence. I like the way that, that's just relatable. It's relatable having to like fix a dollar that doesn't go in the machine right.
Yeah.
That joke was for me.
Gives back the wallet, but like dollar already spent. And he's like, oh, no worries, fellas. I didn't really need that buck, with my fat middle school guidance counselor salary. Oh, I feel
Yeah.
Then he
fun.
just walks away and his face is just kind of like, he looks kind of upset. Like he didn't express his his anger, but I could just tell that Mr. Mandrill, as he was leaving, was like, God, inconsiderate.
This robot arm is ruining Jake's life. It's funny. Jake blames Adam for this when like this was Jake's idea to like for himself.
Jake peed in the volcano, and he went out and did this incredibly impossible thing that Adam would have not even come up with the idea.
He would
to
never
do.
think about this. Jake is the only one who could have possibly like had this concept, and like he's in trouble. This arm is like very scary, much like Dr. Octavius's backpack. It's a backpack.
Yeah, his backpack.
Yeah, his backpack. See, I did good, Renee. I wanted to bring it back to Spider-Man 2, like you were doing.
Thank you, Gert. Anyway, at the threat of being like turned off by Adam, the robot arm changes into this like frightening, sharp, metallic monstrosity that wreaks havoc on the science fair.
It has like a big drill at the end of it, and like a bunch of like little like tendrils.
No, not yet.
Well,
This is
just-
before it detaches. This is when it's like, it's, walking around. It's
Oh,
like
yeah,
turned upside down.
that's
so that,
right.
Like Jake is in the air, and it's got like little legs.
no, it's like
just-
it's like a fucked up spider right now, but with Jake
Yeah.
attached to it.
Windsor is expositing yet again that like the robot arm has like gone out of control and is gonna try to look for a smarter host after like this host has failed him. Then it tosses Jake off and like leaves his exposed brain out, and then it like on the other end where Jake's skull used to be, it forms like the tendrils and a drill, and it's like trying to look for a new skull to conjoin onto.
There's no sort of bodily horror that scares me more than having like an exposed brain and like the person being still alive.
Oh,
it's
yeah, that's like scary.
That scares the absolute shit out of me. Like the idea of just having like literally that's you. That thing in your head, that's you. Like having that exposed. Like even the idea of like dust and shit falling on it, or just like air touching it. It's horrible, and there's no nerves in your brain, so you probably wouldn't feel it if something did, like, scoop a bit out.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
this makes me want to throw up.
Yeah, that's horrible. I'm sorry, but Jake made me think about it. Jake made me do it.
So now the arm is going to set its sights on whoever it can. Then this is where it gets the little drill and like little wires, looking for sniffing out a new host. And Windsor says something smart, of course, and that makes the arm think, "Oh, you know what? I actually want to go on Windsor. Windsor will be a much better host."
Adam says, "I for one think Windsor is really smart."
Yeah.
Runs out.
Yeah, Windsor runs out, and so then Adam and Jake get kind of backed up against the wall, and they have kind of like a funny little back and forth where they're just like trying to make the robot arm think the other one is smarter, and I just think it's really funny. Exchange.
I think it's funny that it's willing to attach itself to Jake's head again, but I guess maybe it doesn't have like, like the recognition that like a human would have, or like a person would have seen like maybe it just sees Jake, like, not as its original host, but just another potential, like, I'll reattach. I have to assess them again.
Yeah, exactly. So they kind of, they're like, oh, I don't know how to count or something like that, and I can't even spell real. And Adam, eventually kind of slips up here and is like, it's REAL, Jake, and then the robot arm's like, okay, you're the smart one then.
Yeah, you're the one. So this robot arm, its little tendrils grasp Adam's arms, and it's pulling him towards a fucking drill. It's going to...
It's frightening, honestly.
It's going to burrow into his skull and use him for what I assume the robot uses organic life force power. It's probably power.
But thankfully, who's here to save the day but Phineas? That's right. Phineas rolls up.
Oh, look at that little show-off.
Yeah, with his robot arm. He, like a cannon, very slowly emerges from his device and he shoots it at him.
And he's just kind of, sitting there, smiling, in his, stupid, little suit. He's just like, I will eliminate them with my big laser gun, and as he's saying it, it's just kind of emerging from the back of his suit and getting into firing position.
It's very funny.
Luckily, Phineas is here to divert the attention. Wow, Phineas, you're so smart. It's the smartest person in the room. Perfect for the robot arm to attach. And we see a brief instant of the robot arm going to Phineas charging the cannon, and then an explosion. It seems that Phineas has won the science fair. Hooray! But we pan up a bit. Phineas is self-congratulatory, but he has the robot arm, and it's holding his trophy. It won't let him have it.
Give it here! I can't get it!
It's very funny. So all's well that ends well. Jake is missing something as he scratches his exposed brain.
You couldn't actually do that. The brain actually has the consistency of oatmeal.
He puts his hat back on, and that's about it. He covers his head back up with his hat. It's all good.
I guess it'll be like that for the foreseeable future. I will assume that his brain is exposed in every episode after this.
And for the end credits, we get a vignette of Jake in this waiting room. All we get is this waiting room, the waiting room music, ba 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 ba, tools whirring and clanging in the background, and then an orangutan on a robotic walker is walking out, and Jake's come walking in to the lab. That's how we got the procedure, I guess.
The idea of a human doing this in this world
to like these sapient animal people.
Yeah.
Like,
just like it's just unregulated like experimental work.
it's messed up.
Turns out it was Dr. Eggman. You know, because he puts the animals in the robot. You get it.
And then Jake gets put under the operating table, and then the doctors are like, no, we made a mistake, we have to remove this robot arm. And then like the robot arm like wakes up and it just starts like attacking the doctors, like that scene in Spider-Man 2. And it's like we get like a lot of like Evil Dead like close up like horror shots, and it's it kills them.
And then like Jake is just like unconscious, and he wakes up in Charles Darwin Middle School, and he's like, hey Adam.
Sorry, it was late. I had to wait for the anesthesia.
We get to see all of that in the end credits.
That's not true.
It's not true. It's just him in the waiting room.
But that's that episode. So I mean, like these 2 episodes, right? Pretty spooky, right?
Spooky enough for you?
Ooh, I think they're fun times. I think the Custodian one is kind of weak in terms of Halloween specials. But
yeah.
I think
it's got atmosphere. I'd say.
It's got atmosphere and some good paintings. But I really would have enjoyed a trick or treating kind of episode.
Oh, that would be so sweet. Like having the whole gang go out and like maybe they don't actually know what trick or treating is, and Adam's like, oh yeah, it's really great. You go to people's houses and they give you all kinds of candy, and they're like, sugar. And then, like, maybe there's, like, some kind of, like, thing where, like, you know, the sugar is too much for them. That's kind of like the other episode, though, with the human food.
Yeah, but, like, there could have been something there. I would have... Part of the fun of a Halloween special is seeing, like, the characters in fun costumes, but, you know.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah,
whatever.
Well, you know,
it was what it was.
These were fun. I liked the robot arm episode. I think that one is one I remember pretty well.
If you think about it, that's kind of like Jake's costume.
Yeah, it kind of is.
Adam and Jake got costumes.
This is definitely, we've reached the point where this show, you know, it's not just your average mundane animal school. Yeah, wacky shit can happen.
Yeah,
you better
I
out.
bet you didn't. I bet you thought that this was kind of like set in like a slice of life-esque reality. No, you can get robot arms attached to your brain in this fucked up school. This fucked up show.
So those were fun episodes. Tune in next time for episode 10, where we'll be talking about 2 Tons of Love and docudrama. Well, it's been an exciting episode, everybody. That's I'm feeling energized and ready to watch the rest of this series, because it's gonna be a ride. I think
it'll happen in no time, honestly. Like, it's going to feel like it's gonna
months and like a year or something, but it's really only, I think we'll be at the end of this series. It'll actually feel like 2 weeks. Like 2 weeks will go by and we'll be at the finale.
God, just 2 weeks and then the finale, and that's it. That's what it'll feel
we'll
like.
See. All right, well,
Not
bye
for a
everybody. Yeah, it'll be a while. Bye everyone for now, though. And I'm Lucy.
I'm Renee.
And I am Dracula this time. I am the one from Castlevania, not Adam Sandler. This is my voice now.
Well, I am Adam Sandler. You have to get out of here.
And I'm Simon Belmont, and I'm gonna fucking kill you. Come over here.
Ah, shit.
What is a
till next
miserable
time.
pile of...
Bye,
Bye everybody.
Bye.